next to me is Jane Velez Mitchell, who's a journalist, a cable news and entertainment commentator, a New York Times bestselling author, and she's also the creator of UnchainedTV.com, which is a platform that features articles and videos related to the vegan lifestyle and culture. Did I get that correct?
Yes, we're actually a streaming network.
You released your memoirs, and it had to do with addiction recovery. I think the name of it is I Want, and then my journey from addiction and overconsumption to a simpler, honest life. My question is, do you think you've reached the simpler and honest life?
I should have said a simpler and more honest life because nobody's
Okay.
100% honest. And sure, my life might be simpler for me, but it might still be very complicated to somebody on the other side of the world. But yeah, I'm in recovery from alcoholism. I haven't had a drink in 27 years. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the greatest decisions: getting sober, coming out as gay, and going vegan. Those are my three miracles I talk about in my book, which was a New York Times bestseller.
That's a tremendously brave thing to do. I admire that very much.
Everybody's got something. We just got to say it. And as they say, the cliche is true. You're only as sick as your secrets.
Right, that's true. Now, part of what you do is you covered a lot of infamous trials, Michael Jackson, Jodi Arias. Who are some of the other well-known headline names in trial that you covered?
The Jodi Arias trial, the Michael Jackson trial, and I was a news anchor during the O.J. Simpson trial, and the big trials of our time. I was there in some way, shape, or form, covering it either as a reporter or as an anchor. And now I am covering truly the crime of the century, which is the destruction of our planet. And that's what Unchained TV is all about, because we are torturing and killing 80 billion animals every year unnecessarily. It's killing us with heart disease and other problems, health issues. It's destroying the planet. It's accelerating climate change. And we have to change, or we literally could be in a planet that's too hot for us to exist. Animal agriculture is a rape, abduction, and murder operation on a scale that has never been seen in human history. More animals are killed in one day than all the human beings who have died in all the wars in human history. They are raised in, if you did it to a dog or a cat, you'd be arrested and charged with animal cruelty.
Mm-hmm. I just recently heard that scientists have found a way to grow meat, not to kill animals, but to grow meat. They take, I don't know, something from
the placenta of a cow and the umbilical cord, and they create the cell structure. There's also bioidentical meat, which copies the DNA sequencing of an animal and creates it. We need to go to that immediately, because if we keep raising and killing these animals, which is a leading cause not only of climate change, but also habitat destruction, which is resulting in wildlife extinction, as well as human world hunger. Okay, we could live in a world where everybody has enough to eat, but we're feeding a massive percentage of the food to farmed animals. It's inefficient. Meanwhile, kids are dying of starvation. More than 80% of the soy is fed to farmed animals. We should be feeding that to kids who are hungry.
Well, the whole concept of being a vegan, how hard is it to convince people that there's a benefit in becoming a vegan?
It's not a sacrifice. It's an adventure. There's actually more variety in vegan cooking because there are tens of thousands of vegetables, fruits, nuts, grains, and legumes. There's only about 6 animals we kill.
What is so hard about convincing people?
Well, addiction. The fast food companies have figured out you pack food with sugar, salt, and starch, the 3 items that we're biologically pre-programmed to crave to get us through times of famine. And we're going to get hooked on that. And there's no better customer than an addict. Okay, so that's why I wrote a book called Addict Nation, because we live in an addictogenic culture, and Americans are hooked, addicted to meat and dairy. And dairy is particularly addictive, particularly cheese, because nature
Yeah.
puts a morphine-like substance in the dairy to get the baby to drink the mother's milk, and it's concentrated in cheese. But the entire system is designed to prop up this industry, even though it's destroying our planet, literally destroying our planet. Most of
Well,
the Amazon is being destroyed for cattle grazing, at least 70%. And who's eating the cattle?
and who's polluting the air? The cattle.
Yeah, methane. Methane is very powerful. It's far more powerful than carbon. And so this to focus exclusively on fossil fuels is really missing the point. I mean, it's like the defendant is sitting in the gallery and you're putting on the getaway driver on trial when the actual killer is sitting in the gallery
Mhm.
laughing.
That's a great visual because you're absolutely right. There's a lot here to think about because you've brought up subjects that I just didn't look at it from that perspective. And I'm glad you did because I'm one of those people who is still trying to figure out all of the benefits from being a vegan. So thank you so much for your time and your effort. And I think this is really a good cause and I'm for it.
Thank you, Stuart. Stuart, I love you.
Until then, you've been listening to Stewart, and some of the most amazing people that I could find. And this lady next to me is one of them. So thank you.